Welcome to Book Bites, brought to you by Spines, where today we're biting into Calm, Your Unspoken Power, written by Rich Plumery. Rich, in your book, you make a powerful yet simple argument that in high-stakes situations, the best performers, Navy SEALs, professional athletes, boardroom executives, they don't win by reacting fast. They win by pausing first. Take me back to when you were 18 years old and driving your younger brother and how these ideas started to form.
Yeah, so that was really a powerful moment in my life that I learned from early on. I am Sicilian. I have Italian blood in me, so I get very emotional in sense.
hmm
But we were driving down the road. I was taking him to an event. He had Down syndrome, so he wasn't able to drive. He was just
hmm
a year younger than me. And as we're driving down, some guy just came out of nowhere and cut me off in the
Huh.
middle of the street. It was a busy street, and jumped in front of me and stopped his car, causing me to slam on my brakes. And then jumped out of his car and came back at me like he wanted to fight. And I had no idea
Wow.
what would really happen. I
hmm
looked at the guy. He had this maniacal look in his eyes, which, you know, kind of frightening type look to see from someone just
For sure. Yeah.
startling you and coming after you. And my instinct was to defend myself, get out of the car and go fight. And I didn't. I looked at my brother and I saw vulnerability there and just what that would have done to him. So I took a moment,
hmm
paused, and I thought about it, and I just remained calm, stayed in my car, watched this guy tear off my antenna, and just storm away, still not knowing what had happened. And
hmm
I just calmly waited till I left, filed a police report later that day, and was waiting for the court date when I saw on TV um, a month or so later that this guy had just murdered someone.
Wow.
Um, and
Wow.
just that just made me pause and say, what could have happened if I would have taken this guy on, not knowing if he had a gun, a knife, or whatever on him? It could have been the end for me and mine. So that caused such an impact. It made me think and pause um, much more throughout my life and in my career. It's what caused me to write the book in the end was just knowing how powerful the calm and the pause associated with it can be. It not only made me more impactful in business and more
hmm
successful in business, but saved my life another few times
Yeah.
because of employing them.
Right. I mean, do you want to talk about maybe one of the other times that you mentioned in the book, how in 2023 you found yourself in a car once again?
Yeah, exactly. The car is not a good thing sometimes, but
Yeah.
we were in one of the most difficult situations that I've ever been in. We had flown to Maui, and we were in Maui for vacation,
hmm
and we had just driven down there the night before to our hotel. And as we were in our hotel, we were woken up at 4 in the morning by a power outage. So all the
Hmm.
lights and everything went out, the alarms went off. My CPAP, which I got went off as well. So startled me awake. Um, and so we just listened to the radio to see what might have happened. And it looks like there was a power outage in the line item. So we said, well,
hmm
this is not good, and it's going to last for a few hours, as we have said. So we decided to drive down to Kehen in Hawaii and really get to breakfast, turn it into lunch because they were down Palo Alto. Anyway, on the ride back in the afternoon, we were approaching the entrance to the Lahaina, which is the Honolulu Road. We were on the highway,
hmm
and a cop strung past us. Similar to the guy who was the maniac, turns past us and stopped. He stopped and blocked our way as well. that made me think, well, maybe I'm just exhausted. It's been a long day. We just want to get back to our hotel. Do I just go around the guy? Or what do I do? I chose to stay in the main con. My family's with me, my daughter and my wife. And we saw, and as he pulled in front of us, there was a fire truck on the right that was spraying down some residual uh, ashes and fire from earlier in the day. But they said all that was covered. As we sat there, we watched, and I have a video of it, the fire came across the highway, jumped the road, and went down into Lahaina. And that was the
Wow.
very start of the Lahaina fire. And if we had been on that road, it was log jammed. So everybody was stuck in their cars with fire around them. Many of them perished due to fire. We would have perished because we were too far from the ocean to get to it. Some of the others that were all the way down to Front Street were able to jump in the ocean and save themselves because the fire went all the way to the world. Just a horrific event. If I hadn't remained calm and paused, we would have been in that situation.
Wow.
And who knows when the rough rains him. And so
Again, it just
sometime-
reinforces kind of the main theme that you write about in the book, about remaining calm, breathing, taking that moment. There's this idea that you write what you know or part of yourself. And with these ideas, it seems like you've done both, right?
Exactly. From the experience, I was able to take that and pivot that into what I know about leadership and how I dealt with leadership throughout my career. And I harken back into the sort of events in the book on how that really not only allowed me to survive, but allowed me to be successful in business and really prosper in what I was doing. Helped me build this into some frameworks for leadership that really took calm from just being a personality trait to a leadership operating system. How that system really allows you to do well under pressure and show your strength and show your calm under pressure and not let pressure make the decisions, but allow you to pause, reflect, select, and act, and make those decisions, and nor fall through.
So when you told people that you were going to write this book, what were some of the reactions that you get? Maybe some of the best ones or the worst ones or the oddest reactions? When you told your wife or your daughter, for instance.
To a person, we say, I need to learn calm. Because they've recently, or someone's always been in a situation where there's chaos. Chaos sometimes, or conflict, right? A lot of conflicts we deal with in our work life and our personal life. Really, how to remain calm under pressure, that's what they wanted to hear. They wanted to hear more about that. And how they could utilize that in their lives, in their careers. So it's been impactful. I've gotten a lot of good feedback since then from people on how it's inventive. And
yeah, obviously the content is so important. I'm just curious, from someone who had never written a book before, when you decided to take that plunge and do it, when you shared that thought to endeavor to embark on that expedition, what were some of the reactions there? Like, I'm going to write a book. Oh, okay, that's a strange thing to do, Rich. How you come to that one?
Yeah, and some people that have known me for a while have known that I've had a few books in the process over the past 10 years. And this was actually not one of them that was in the queue for me to write about. I always had a passion for writing. I write a lot. In my leadership role, I wrote 250 blogs over the last 3 years of my tenure there. So I was used to writing. I like to write. I wrote a number of technical papers for the architectural engineering, design, and construction industry over the years. So people knew I was a writer. They didn't think book, though. So the pivot to a book was a little bit more daunting in their mind. It felt natural to me. It just wasn't loud. They don't know And now that I finished 4 of them, it's got 1 more to go.
Wow.
You know,
And are they all
succeeded with
leadership
what my
related or
goals were.
personal development?
They are all leadership related and how I live in this. Even calm is more about how you use calm within the leadership than I use it in the personal life. We can use it in your personal life. I do use it in my personal life. And use these same principles to get there, but I really applied it more to the leadership than the first book being Calms Up Leadership, then moving at the speed of silence, songs, and now the final day probably lays on the 90 about them. But they all connect. They're all part of the same leadership often existed.
Nice. So when you are writing, what's your brain fuel of choice? Is it coffee, tea, wine, whiskey?
Definitely a coffee guy. Yeah.
And how many do you think you get through when you're writing?
So I do it on weekends a lot because I was working full time. I had 30 roles in my leadership role that I had for the AECon company with 30 different roles. So I was quite occupied at the time.
Wow.
Is enough just to write the blogs and stuff. So I would spend my weekends and I'd go 12, 15 hours writing just on that. So it took a little bit of coffee.
Yeah, the coffee definitely helps.
Few cups, but I'm energized just by my passion for it. Just writing and really impacting others, right? From Palms Up Leadership, it's kind of the approach of serve, support, and protect, enable, engage, and embrace. And it's how I deal with people. I deal with my coworkers, my compadres, and colleagues. And if I make a difference for them, that's where I get my energy. And I knew these books would make energy, especially college. Even for a blog, they often use English literature.
You know, most people say they want to write a book, but they never finish one. You managed more than one. What would you say your writing superpower is, if anything?
It's tapping into the experiences. That's what it was, and just getting them out on paper. I probably drafted it 20 times before I got in the book. Just to really get my feelings out and really center on those and the experiences of what was really the core to it. And I'm able to get to the core of things. And that was what allowed me to change projects around and change portfolios around and change companies around and such, as getting to the core of the issue. And I would knack for getting down to the core of what the essence of what we're trying to solve is. And some of that was through technique, was in my approach, just coming alongside people, breaking down their defenses, allows them to open up and disclose more early on. And when they disclose more, I can then work on remedies and things that can be used to be corrected actions or mitigation measures to stem the forward what's going bad and work on how to get it right. And that's what I say is really, when you call it the thing that I do is really the GTBS, that's the thing. Well,
You make a distinction in the book about the concept of nice versus kind. Do you care to maybe expand on that? It kind of tickled me how you discuss that.
Yeah. Nice comes across as soft, kind of like calm. When you talk about calm, people think of it as soft and pushover and a doormat and that. You can be nice to people, but it's more important to be kind to people, and you get a better reaction from them. They understand what you're doing and how you're approaching them. And I mean, it's just not just being a nice guy. You can be a nice guy, but you can do it in a kind way that really alerts them to where you're coming from, and that you're not a pushover and you're just someone there with this thing to help them.
Were there any alternative book titles that you played with as you were developing this idea?
Yeah, I looked at calling it just pause, or the pause progression, because that is the core of the book, is really the pause progression, how to pause and really think about what you're doing, create that space to think, then reflect during that pause on what do I know? What do I need to know? What would be good to know? Do I need to make this decision now? Do I have all the facts? Can I just make a different decision that would be the minimum decision necessary to move forward and keep things going, and then make the determinate decision later? Right? So going through that and then selecting what way am I going to employ this leadership? Am I going to serve during this? Am I going to support this? Am I going to protect and become in protective mode and be really safe? So in going through that, and then I act intentionally. So I plan what I'm going to do then, and then I act intentionally. And that was really the cause to it. So that caused me to think about maybe using pause in the title. But it was the sense of calm that I thought was a little bit more powerful in stating those things, and really was the calm under pressure, right? The pressure of decisions as leadership, you really necessitates really thinking about things more deeply and not sort of reactively. People expect people who are smart to react really quickly. And sometimes it's not the quick reaction that's necessary, it's the thoughtful reaction that's necessary.
On that point, do you think that because the pace of life today is so immediate and quick, that it's becoming more and more difficult for people to pause? They're fearful to do so, or they just don't know how to even?
That's spot on, absolutely. Everything, especially think about AI, when AI is coming into our lives and what we're doing, things are there quicker. There's more information now in the digital age you've had for 10 years now. You can get to things much better. It helps you. It helped me in researching for the book, right? It helps you to delve into things much quicker. And people kind of become the Google minds, right? They want an answer quickly, and they want that from the people. They want that from the system. They want that from everything they deal with now. And I mean, that for a leader can be very painful and very harmful to what you're trying to do.
So if someone is listening right now and they're heading into a high pressure moment tomorrow, let's say, a negotiation, a hard conversation, a crisis, what's the one sentence version of what they should actually do?
Pause, select, reflect, select, yeah. Like that, because if you're in a negotiation, that's a great scenario. You want to cause a pause within the situation where you'll ask them something and you want to pause and not continue to ask questions until they answer it. Or you may set them up with a situation trying to get to what they're really valuing in the negotiation. And that's the key, is to get to what they really value in the negotiation. It's either simple money or if it's something else. Everybody was in the negotiations with a key client of ours. And they didn't want to give us change orders for some of the work we did. But they wanted the stuff to be done. We refused to deal with it until we got negotiated. So I knew we had that loving. And I proposed to them, hey, what do you really need out of these change orders at that? And then someone would type up and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Take notes on that. Right? And determine what you think that value is out of these things to that. Right? Just by the way they express it. And if they say first, right, what they talk often about in negotiations, and just allowing that pause to listen. That pause and listen. It's a very powerful negotiation.
That's great. Rich, thanks so much for joining us at Book Bites from Spines. You can locate calm Your Unspoken Power on Amazon. I've been your host, Omri Rose. And if you want to hear extended interviews, some guests join us on Book Bites Deep Dive. Until next time, follow Book Bites, leave a review, and happy reading. Rich, thanks.
Thank you.